LGBTQIA+ is a forever evolving acronym used to describe gender, sexuality, and even other characteristics.
This is true, and it can be quite daunting and confusing to actually use these acronyms correctly.
Like, how do I navigate my way through pronouns?
Like, how do I even get to fit in? These are the questions asked daily.
Kom ons praat. Today we have our fabulous guests right here on the WQMD cast.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome, Sis Tamara. Welcome, Yahto Kraft. Please tell us, who is Sis Tamara? Who is Yahto Kraft? Let's start with you.
Why is it with me though? I always get confused when I get this question. Sis Tamara is an experience. That's what I always tell people. Every interaction that you have with me, it's gonna be an experience. So Sis Tamara is crazy, bubbly, very passionate, and is very expressive. And compared to Uko, because Uko is always like trying to be in the corner and is very shy and is very logical. Sis Tamara is very fearless. So that's who Sis Tamara is. Gender non-conforming experience.
How do you know the difference? How do we know the difference?
It just happens. I think right now, I went into being Sis Tamara, but when I walked in, I was in my Uko corner where I'm trying to hide. I'm not trying to be seen really because of what's happening in my head most of the time. But Sis Tamara is like, yo, I'm here. It's going to be a vibe. It's going to be a good time. So this is Sis Tamara.
And Yahto?
Yahto Kraft is a 21-year-old gender fluid singer-songwriter from Melville.
Come on.
No, just my full buyout. Yeah, that's just a human who's trying to exist in the world and trying to make themselves known as an entity of human performance. That sounds very intense.
Human performance, I love that.
It's every day you kind of wake up and you choose what you're going to be and what you're going to do, and getting dressed, you're kind of putting on what you want to present to the world and this character you want to bring forward into your day. So that's the human performance. You kind of fake it till you make it.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's true. That is true. And just for the viewers' sake and for our sake, what are your gender pronouns?
So I always tell people that I'm he, she, they, them, noma yini njayam, and this is because noma yini njayam. And I always tell people whatever energy you get from me, then just run with it. Because even understanding pronouns, me myself, I've struggled with it, and I've always felt like it's like, why do we always have to label ourselves? Why do we have to know exactly who and what we are? So for me, it was the thing of just to also make things easier for myself, because I never understood it. When I can wake up and I feel some type of way. I wake up, I feel, and it's different. So it was the thing of, do I really feel I'm a he? No, not really. Maybe sometimes. She, maybe not really.
Do you find this changes daily for you in terms of your pronouns?
That's why I keep telling people whatever energy that you feel I'm exuding, then, because it was also a thing of me, if someone addresses me as he, and I'm not necessarily playing into being a woman, but it made me feel some type of way. And then sometimes if they address me as she, makes me feel some type of way. And then it's like, okay, what does this mean? So in me trying to understand what that means for me, it's a thing of I can be whatever. And because I feel like I embody so many energies. And so that's why I'm like, whatever it is. And because I'm also still trying to understand it. So he, she, they, them, noma yini njayam.
I love that.
It's a vibe.
And Yahto?
I use he, they pronouns. I identify as gender fluid. I'm also bisexual, so I've never made a decision in my life. But I use he, they pronouns. I went through a very long time at the beginning of high school. I was lucky enough to have a best friend in high school who was a trans woman herself, and we kind of played around with all of the different pronouns. She, he, they, it. I have a friend who identifies with it and they, them pronouns. Right. We kind of just flattered around all of them until he, they kind of stuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, recently I was telling my colleagues here at WQMD that now my pronouns are they, them. And I just wanted to know what your journey was. Like, how did you feel? Because I've heard a little bit about you, but yet I'm quite interested into knowing, like, how did you decide, okay, he, they is what works for me? And maybe telling us the importance. Why do you think that pronouns are important? I know to you, you're saying, you know, like, this is how I feel during the day. For me, I don't want to label myself. I don't want to box myself. But maybe for other people, it would be quite interesting to know why.
Definitely. First of all, congratulations on that journey and coming to that. That's absolutely incredible. For myself, it was kind of playing with all of the different pronouns in the binary and sticking to the traditional binary hurts my soul. I don't really love the traditional masculine, feminine energies of what life is forcing us to be. Yes, very much that. So the he, they pronoun and gender fluidity of it all, actually, I came to the term gender fluid watching Alex Newell be themselves on screen and just live, and finding their pronouns online is so difficult because they feel exactly the way you do, of whatever energy, just go, gender fluidity. And I'm very much there. Life is so short. And ek het die tyd nie.
Okay, so I think for all the viewers at home as well, just an understanding of it, what does the word pronouns mean to you? And what's the definition of pronouns for the viewers at home to understand as well?
Can I take this one? No, please take it.
I'll take it.
I'm very pronoun, I'm very proverb as well, adverbs, adjectives. No, choked him. It's fine, don't stress, we'll edit that out. So pronouns are the way that you identify yourself in the third person, yes, right? Ek praat Afrikaans, ek weet. He is walking, she is walking, they are walking. That is a pronoun, and taking that person, just a whole English lecture. This is going well. But pronouns for me are just a way that I identify myself, and to make communication easier between people. I'm not going to say Jody is walking and now Jody is standing over there and now Jody is sitting next to me. That's a lot.
Yeah, and just to add on that, I think for me, it's the sense of security that comes with the pronouns. And I think that's why it's so hard. And I know it's hard even for me, but it's as much as it's hard, it's very important because it's also the validation and just that you're being seen. Because imagine now you're going through this journey where you're so conflicted within yourself, and the only thing that makes sense or kind of makes it better is your pronouns rather. And then now having someone who disregards that. So I think it cuts deep. It's like it's deep, and I know, especially for a lot of people, you know. And I think also it's a thing of where we need to learn and unlearn and make that choice to do that, because I know people keep asking me, what's this pronouns thing? Why do you guys come up with so many labels? It's a new thing every day. And I'm like, because it's a continuous journey. So every day is going to be a different experience.
And it's so interesting when people say that, because it's like, oh, it must be so nice. It must be so nice to know yourself. Like some of us are still on, like you say, a continuous journey to figure out who we are.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think as far as pronouns go, we know he, she, they, them, and you mentioned it as well.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And I know you can't speak for your friends,
Of course.
but from what you know.
So from what I've learned from it still feels weird. So I understand why the journey of people using they, them pronouns for certain people is difficult, because labeling someone as it in itself is also difficult in and of itself. But it doesn't identify not only in the gender binary, but as human per se. It is purely a soul put in a flesh suit, and that is how it walks the earth and lives its life. So, and that was really like a journey for me to come to terms with personally, and like to talk to it and be like identify it as it. It almost feels impersonal, but by using the correct pronoun for it, it feels more personal. It feels more connective to...
Because they've expressed themselves that way. Exactly. And that is the difference in terms of what you just described, that the word it is basically because they're in a body and there's a soul, and and that's how they move through the world, and that's how they want to be identified. It's quite profound. To reach that level of depth and understanding and asking someone to address me in this means that you have gone, like you said, onto that journey. So then, for now, for as well, you've been on Big Brother, and so what was that? Space.
I voted.
What was that journey like for you as well? And were you accepted in the space? And did you take up your space and elaborate for us a little more on that?
Before I go into the experience, for me, it's not even, I'm past the stage of wanting to be accepted. I just need people to acknowledge the fact that I will be in this space and I will do what I have to do because what must happen, you know? So, but the show was crazy and I was not even, I did not think I would make it on the show. It was, I think 6 days before the auditions closed, I was like, let me just do this. And you know how it is being a freelancer and trying to better yourself at self-tapes and stuff like that. So when I got the call, I was like, what's happening here? And the one thing that I had on my mind was I need to go on the show for representation and visibility because I wanted to tell the queer story from a queer person's perspective, you know? And I'm not gonna lie, like I was afforded the chance. And I think it's because of the type of reality show that is 24 hours and they literally just want you to be yourself, which is also a choice that you make because you can literally get on the show and play into a certain character. But for me, I wanted people to see the human aspect before they saw the queer body that I am, you know? So I just wanted people to show, I just wanted to show people that different side because, you know, the stereotypes and the stigma that comes with being queer, people making assumptions, how we are always labeled as sexual deviants, party animals, that's all that we know. So for me, it was different. I needed people to see my soul, if you will, more than anything, and then also use that opportunity as a teachable moment for people. Because as much as I'm still learning so much about myself, I know, especially people that don't understand, identify as queer, that they also are learning, but it's also about choosing to want to learn and unlearn certain things.
Opening themselves up to
Yes.
receiving. And obviously you've got all this knowledge to give. Right? Like you say, 24 hours a day, it's going, there's no hiding away. This is who you are. You've taken up the space, and I think that's incredible. How was it received?
Yes, when you got out that house.
It's crazy. It's more love compared to the hate, though. But, you know, I mean, people are people at the end of the day. So there's the hate, which I choose not to focus on. But the love is crazy. And I think for me, it's a thing of how inclusive I was, even of the community that's not within the queer community. This one lady, I think it was Twitter Spaces, actually came in and she was like, I'm so grateful for the fact that you taught everyone, not just the queer community, but everyone else. Not just when it comes to how you identify and stuff like that, but just about loving each other and how to be human. Because I'm not sure if I can swear on the show, but I always say people just need to stop being shit humans. That's all you need to do. For me, you don't need to love me. You don't need to, like, it's okay, but can we not be shit humans to each other and just respect each other? So it was received quite well, I'm not going to lie. It's still being received quite well, so yeah. Here's a bit to the top.
And Yahto, how was your experience on The Voice? How was that?
Mine is actually a little bit different because I didn't use he, they pronouns and come into my gender fluidity on the show.
Okay.
I only started discovering that fully of myself during the show and then after. Whoa. So I technically only came out when I got dropped. I got fired. When I got evicted. That's a different show. When I left the show.
Right.
And being just openly queer and wearing my dresses and everything, I just thought, it's going to be a boy in a dress. It's going to be stunning, gorge. And then just reveling in the fluidity of gender post-show, I felt more comfortable in dresses for certain songs, and certain songs needed a pant. It has a masculine energy, and pants are traditionally masculine, so we'll wear that.
Right.
So kind of playing with both of those aspects and doing what the song is asking for, what the character is. Yes. And I think that's kind of how I came to terms with my own gender fluidity and my own use of my own personal pronouns. And the most interesting thing about being on The Voice, though, is the viewership was seen as way more close-minded and like it's going to be straight white people watching The Voice. That's all. Most of the top 10 were queer or plus size or queer affirming. We had mostly people of color in the top 10. It was the most diverse, incredible group of people together. And knowing that the public voted for them to be there, it just kind of changed the way that I personally will now look at the show. And I think the higher ups, the big boss man, will also look at the show.
That's what we need. Yes. Oh my goodness. And just like in general, I think a lot of people struggle. Like if someone addresses you wrong, what is the right thing to do? What is the comfortable thing to do to make someone else feel comfortable after that? Because I know that if someone addresses me wrong once, I have told them it's okay to correct yourself, and then we continue the conversation. It doesn't have to be awkward. What do you guys think?
You want to go first?
Yeah, of course. I personally, I personally think don't make it a big deal.
Okay.
Just be like, so sorry, move on.
Let's move on.
Yes, use the correct pronoun, because as soon as you start making it a thing, it's going to become a thing, and then it's a bit shit for everyone. So just correct yourself, move on. If you make the mistake again, cool, try to move on. 3 times, 4 times. You're not listening. Yeah, hey, let's sit down. Oh, what is happening? Yeah. So I think don't make it a big deal. Just move on from that. What do you feel?
I feel there's a fine line between really making a mistake and disregarding what I would like you to do. So there are people that will literally pronounce what do you say? What's the English word? Mispronounce on purpose, you know. And there are people that really like it takes time for them to learn. And I think for me, it's just correcting people and keep on teaching people. But when it gets to a point where you can see this person is just disregarding how you feel, as in we have to have like a chat. What's happening? Why are you doing this? Are you doing this on purpose? What's happening? I understand that there are people that do feel uncomfortable in certain situations, but can we also address that? Can we have a conversation about that? And I always say that having dialogue always helps, and to actually understand where this person is coming from. Right. But also within that, I also just putting energy into something that there's nothing that's going to come from it. For me, rather just take yourself out of that situation. Yep. Basically.
So to both of you, when you wake up in the morning and you decide that this is the energy, that you are going to be using for that day, and this is how you want to be known, do you have a safe space when you go out of your home and you get to be that for the day?
It was just a look. I personally used to not have that. My family is very accepting. My mother is the most incredible woman ever. My dad used to wear dresses before he passed. It was everything. But before that, I kind of hung around people who weren't as supportive and who didn't want to learn and who didn't want to educate themselves. And I just cut them off. It's the easiest way to do that. It's the unfortunate thing because you still love them, but they're being shit.
Humans.
Shit humans, like you said. So you've kind of just got to create your own space, and I've crafted that now. And when I get to wake up and wear my negligee and have a ciggy and a breakfast, and my housemates don't, they're like, okay, morning doll, how are you? But you kind of craft your own safe space and your support system, and actually a lot of it is other queer and queer affirming people, because we have to create our own safe space and use our platform and our friendship and our support to create more safe spaces and carry on that legacy of safety. That sounds like a lot, eh? But I personally wake up in the morning and I'm like, I'm gonna look hot in jeans today. And then I'm gonna wear a little crop top, and then it's gonna be stunning.
Babe.
And then some days I'm like, I'm gonna wear the shortest skirt I have, my fuck me pumps, and then that's gonna be the day. That's gonna be what we're doing today. And everyone just has to deal with it. And that's the thing. It's actually surprising that not a lot of people give a shit. Like, people don't. I'm so sorry. You have leg hair and a penis. Why are you wearing a skirt? People don't really give a shit. Some people do, and then there are the people who really do and go out of their way to make sure that
You know that they do.
you know that, and that's the unfortunate thing, because especially in our country, people tend to get aggressive with that and very, very vocal. But you kind of know what those spaces are that you can't do that in.
Okay.
Ek gaan nie Presley's toe gaan in my kort rompie nie.
Yes.
Want ek gaan gebliksem word. But I can go to other safe spaces and queer affirming spaces, or even straight hangouts. I can go to ball breakers in my tiny skirt and no one's gonna give a shit because everyone's drunk. But yes, you kind of just craft and learn and educate yourself on where can I fully be myself and where do I kind of have to organize what it looks like.
Yeah.
Where do I need to be a cisgendered male who use he, him pronouns? We won't talk about it. This is just what we're doing. And where can I be fluid? Where can I be safe and supported? How do you feel?
And it sucks that we need to play into that, but unfortunately, we do live in South Africa, and yeah, I have had instances where I've been attacked for just being myself. So, yeah, I mean, I have scars right back, but yeah. But for me, it hasn't always been safe, because also I'm from a village, and you know how patriarchal that can be, like the society can be. So I've always had to play into being indoor-door and stuff like that. So until I came to Joburg, where I thought I would be afforded the space to just be, wasn't the case. I still, like, it's like going to the taxi rank. I know it's a thing. I remember this one time, this taxi driver would not even speak to me because of the way I was dressed and how I was expressing myself at the time. So now, as much as I know that it's not as safe as I would like it to be, but I'm very intentional of living. One thing I told myself, I'm not as fearful as I used to be, and I'm not gonna dumb myself down or not be myself because of people. And I think that's why going back to those teachable moments, but again, making the assumption that people want to learn is very dangerous, because you could literally just be walking down the street being yourself and then get attacked. You try to teach this person, they decide to kill you. So, but I'm very intentional about finding myself in safe spaces, and again, queer affirming spaces, so that I do. But I don't even think about it. Like when I wake up, it's not like I wake up and okay, today I'm gonna be Sis Tamara, or today I'm wearing this. I really can't explain it.
Yeah,
it's just an energy. When I wake up, I'm like, okay, let's put this on because I feel like this. And then maybe 2 hours down the line, okay, I'm going back to being butch. And then 2 hours later, I'm wearing a frock again. So I don't even think about it. It just happens. It's just who I am. And I think that's what people need to understand. It's not like sit down in a boardroom and then, okay, what's going to happen now for this week? This is what I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to do. It's literally just you waking up and being yourself, if that makes sense.
And I think it makes perfect sense. I think what's coming to light as well is the fact that so many people are obviously fearful of things that they do not know. And at the end of the day, being able to, like we said at the beginning, to reach that journey of finding your pronoun means that you went on the journey of self-discovery. And so many people are so scared of that journey because they're scared of what they're going to find. And being brave is also quite a scary task by the sounds of things, you know. And I think understanding that finding the safe spaces is the most important, and understand that you are cognitive in the spaces that you enter. You know, you mentioned a couple of places where you said, I'm not going to go there wearing certain things. So that's something I also feel that all the viewers at home should definitely know as well, that you have to take control of the situation that is your life for safety purposes, as well as for a safe space for you to express yourself. If you'd like to close off with it, Tina?
Honestly, all I can say is, one, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You existing and living truthfully is doing so much for the people around you. We couldn't be more honored to have you on WQMD.
Thank you so
have no
much for
idea.
having me.
Thank you for having
you.
us and giving us an opportunity to yell at cameras for a little bit.
Anytime.
Genuinely the best.
Anytime. So thank you.
Thank you
and
so
may you
much.
go with love and blessings and keep doing what you do.
Thank you so much.
As we continue to learn, grow, discover, and explore our colorful communities, let us be respectful and mindful of each other.
And let us also always remember that we are all on a journey of self-discovery and acceptance. So let's keep moving forward.
And let's celebrate our uniqueness.